Well, it's a beautiful Wednesday morning, the third day in September 2025. A very good morning to you. Many thanks for joining us on Open Parliament, live on Family Love 99.9 FM, right here in Abby's capital, Umuahia. My name is Mr. C. Here is where we bring you big stories, those trending in Nigeria, Abia, and beyond. Flip side, we let you come through with a reaction or two, where we get the phone lines open. Well, to some of the big stories we have been tracking this hour. The governor of Abia State, Governor Alex Oti, has dismissed the EFCC petition over 54 billion naira education fund, and this is as the state government has fired back at Interpol systems consultant and security experts at Chikwe Udensi, following a recent interview where he questioned the integrity of the government's financial disclosure and project execution. We'll talk about this in detail and of course more in just a moment. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to Open Parliament, the midweek edition, live on Family Love 99.9 FM. My name is Mr. C. Well, on Wednesday last week, in fact a week today, precisely August 27th, 2025, the state of Abia did mark its 34th anniversary. And of course, those concerned stakeholders and Abians alike did express the journey so far. Now, respected security expert and political figure Chikwe Udensi did offer his candid assessment of the state's development journey. He did speak exclusively with ABN TV, where he acknowledged areas of commendable improvements, but expressed deep concerns about what he described as glaring lapses in transparency, accountability, and governance structure in Abia State. Well, just like you heard, we'll talk about this in detail in a bit. My guest, just as you might know, is the Chairman Governing Council, Institute for Security and Safety and Administration, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Chairman Board of Directors, National Council of Women Societies of Nigeria, a Vice President, International Security Association, a Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Forensics and Fraud Investigators of Nigeria, a Fellow of Ethical Leadership of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, former Argonne Secretary General, a recipient of Zix Award on Innovation and Creativity, a pioneer inductee, National Integrity Hall of Fame, the managing consultant of Interpol at the National Central Bureau, Abuja. Talking about Sir Chikwe Udensi. He joins us virtually this morning. A very good morning to you, sir. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mr. C. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you this morning. We couldn't have you last week, and that's because we had an in-house event, but it's good to have you back on the program. I understand you are not in the country at the moment, apparently off the country to have a vacation with your family. Am I correct? Where is that, if yes?
Yes, Mr. C. It has been a very tough year. You know, I have wearing so many caps. I have to be in Switzerland as a vice president. I have to be in UAE, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi, executing Interpol projects. And I also have to be in Lyon, France, to comment with Interpol head office. It has been a very hectic year. So I'm having a quiet vacation here with my family in Paris. So we are here for just a few days, and then we'll be back to Nigeria.
Awesome. I'm sure it's going fantastic already. Family time.
It can be, whenever the family has enough time to be together, you know, it's always a thing to Savoy. This is, I've been out of the country for too long. Out of the 8 months here, I've been out of the country for 6 months. So this is an opportunity to stay with them before they resume school, and for those who are going for their service and law school. So we're trying to get the best out of it here.
Awesome.
And you can be sure Paris is the place for it.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Well, do have a good time, and say me hi to the family, though.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, business too, and I'm sure your vacation has not stopped you from keeping tabs with what's happening in Nigeria and Abia State as well. And talking about Abia State, let's start there, because you did give your own take. You did an appraisal of Abia 34, just like I mentioned in the introductory part. A week ago today, Abia clocked 34 years of its existence, and you did give an exclusive interview to ABN TV recently, where you did your own candid assessment of how far the journey has been. You want to reiterate the point you raised. You said there have been commendable progress, and when it got down to the last 2 years, you mentioned yes, progress has been made in some areas, but still more to be done in the others.
Absolutely, Mr. C. I took a very clear and very surgical approach from 1999 to date. If you see how we started in 1999, check some states where there was some good foundation that was laid. Those states did very well. In Abia, I do not intend to say that the then governor, Jules or Kali did not give a good foundation, but I would have said that much needed to be desired. We have suffered from 1999 till when the electricity took over. In fact, if you check payment of salaries, if you check the infrastructure, if you check the environment, how dirty both Umahia and Aba was all this time, up to the time electricity took over, you agree with me that electricity coming in was an improvement on what we had earlier than that. A very massive improvement in the area of infrastructure. Yes, there has been arguments that the improvement was as a result of availability of funds. That's the argument so many people make. But we equally know that states like Ebonyi, Enugu, and Anambra had the same amount of income that Abia had. Still, they improved themselves more than Abia State did. So we are very concerned that Abia didn't do much from 1999 to 2023 until electricity came in. Now, when electricity came in, yes, there was improved revenue. We saw improved roads construction. We saw improved payment of salaries. We saw improved payment of pensioners. That's one of my areas. One area I have drawn a lot of inspiration from. Though I quarrel with government when they said they paid, but when actually they did not pay. They only went and signed an agreement with the leadership of the pensioners to forgo their years of pension. So you understand exactly my area of calculation. I have calculated very honestly and decently, and I'm of the view that Abia has an improvement, especially in terms of infrastructure, in terms of payment of salaries and payment of pensioners. See, there's an improvement. But that does not mean we are out of the woods completely. Like I mentioned earlier, when the government started and told us very clearly that they have cleared the backlog of pensions and gratuity, people like us were excited. I jumped on my heels. I celebrated it, only to find out it was a signature, mere signature by some members of the executives of the pension union. That was my first disturbance. And I didn't waste time in saying it. I quickly called my good brother, Alexoti, the governor. I said, you must have to do something right. You are doing a good job. Don't mix that good job with false stories. When you have false narrative and you are doing a good job, people are bound to see only the false narrative not the good job you are doing. Yes, you're doing a good job now. Concentrate on the good job. Leave lies, leave falsehood, leave propaganda. But unfortunately, you see that Abia State is somehow they are seriously embedded in falsehood. They don't give proper figures. So that is why I said, yes, there is some movement, there's some progress. But we are not out of the woods yet, because we still see very disturbing arrangement. And Mr. C, you must have to realize that I do not speak out of malice or out of ignorance or out of not knowing what I say. Before I even ventured into making these arrangements, I spoke to quite a lot of members of this government. I also looked at some of the memos and data, especially the one that troubled me mostly was the memo from Engineer Meme, the former permanent secretary of Ministry of Works in Abia State. That memo stated clearly the amount of money that was supposed to be used to construct Port Harcourt Road. Let me say it without any equivocation that Port Harcourt Road was a nightmare to everybody. So some people are even just concerned about let it just be done, no matter how much it is. But some people that require some prudence, when you do it, you say yes, good job. But at how much was it done? And I keep saying it. If you look at the memo of former PAMSEC, a memo to the state governor, and look at the memo of Udurigi, look at the report we have of some people who did some due diligence on what it will take or what they are constructing right now. I'm talking about professionals in the area, experts in the area, with so many years of experience. We are concerned about the 36.5 billion used for Port Harcourt Road. We are concerned about it. But however, we must have to say thank you to the governor for even doing the job in the first place. But that will not stop us from saying that job was done at an enormously, extremely high price. It does not mean we are ungrateful that the job was done in the first place. No. But we must, as people of good conscience, people who understand our environment and how best to analyze it, we must have to say, yes, good job, but not at that cost. If you go out of the family and go and come back with a brand new Mercedes to the family, the children will jump up, everybody will be happy. A brand new Mercedes. And then you tell them you pay the $1 billion for it. You will see the attitude will change. Yes, brand new Mercedes, but I can't watch. That is where we are concerned. And also, the figures that came out of the state government. Let me make this very clear, in very, very clear terms. I have seen extreme inconsistency with the state government figures. I have done a window search, and right now we are going to do more search to see what it is. The state government in their own record of performance, budget performance. What budget performance simply means is how much you have expended from your budget. That's what budget performance is. From the old state government budget performance, they told us in 2024 that 54 billion was expended to renovate and fix 51 schools in Abia State. That gingered a lot of concern to so many people. And people are saying, okay, that's a good one, wonderful. But can we see where you did it? This is the question. Can we see where you did it? That is why I'm telling you that it ought not to be a one-man show, the governor talking. The question ought to go to the Commissioner for Finance, Commissioner for Education. Let us see the 21 schools you have renovated or retrofitted with 54 billion. Suddenly, the governor came on a press conference, and I had a record of it, and said no, that it was not 54 billion. The actual amount is 14 point something billion as of July, according to the governor. I have a record of it. The question therefore is, did the Accountant General and the Commissioner for Finance, did they lie to us? Did they lie to World Bank when they said they have expended 54 billion? I'm talking about accountability and consistency in governance. If you lack these two things, we're talking about public funds. When these two things are lacking, People will ask questions. The question now is, if you say you have expended this amount of money, where is it? I'm also very concerning too, Mr. C. I have a few other areas of expenditure which nobody could see. Nobody could see them. I remember when they mentioned about how much money that was spent for ICT in 2014, if I remember, 2.4 billion ICT hub. I say, where is it?
You mean 2024?
Yeah, 2024. ICT hub, where is it? I think we talked about the farm seedling of 4.3 billion. So where is it? And there was a research work that was done for 10 billion, the research on development. People are saying, what kind of research is that? Are you researching on nuclear energy? And then you spent about 20 billion to retrofit your own personal home in Ishalangwa. Well, we're not saying the governor is a crook. No, nobody's saying that. But people are saying public funds ought to be properly accounted for. And when questions are asked, what happened? What your job as a governor, your job as a special advisor, your job as a commissioner, your job as a permanent secretary is to explain. Your job is not to insult people. Your job is not to be arrogant. It is not your money. We're talking about public funds, the commonwealth of the people. So when anybody, no matter how stupid it is, when you ask a question, that question ought to be answered in very humble, human, precise manner.
Okay.
If people allege that you have expended 20 billion in this area, be humble. But let me give you an example of what I mean. I listened also to the governor. It was sent to me by my staff, the press conference when the issue of, if I remember, is as a Chikwe questioning the 54 billion. The governor didn't even say, no, this is where we have built it. No. He said that Chikwe was coming to ask for employment in his office. This is not what we want to hear. We are talking about 54 billion naira. Talking about you and Chikwe can do your personal things. We are asking about the 54 billion naira you said you have expended in your report. Abia State report. I'm not talking about anybody else's report. Abia State own report. You said you have already expended 54 billion on 51 schools. What is it? You cannot distract anybody with accusation or insult. Nobody can take that. And let me tell you, we have taken extra steps. I will elaborate my extra steps as we go ahead.
Well, talking about that, your appraisal of Abia 34, the state government has reacted, and this through a press release signed by Mr. Ferdinand Ekoma, the special advisor to the governor on media and publicity, where they said your appraisal to be making baseless, misleading and politically motivated claims, describing your criticism on the government as predicated on ignorance and mischief. I mean, they also cited, tried to put straight some of the comments you made, like the Port Harcourt Road, you know, the kilometers of the road. I'm sure you've seen the statement by the government, try to puncture as well your comments that the governor is running a one-man show. But first off, what do you make of the lines that you're making baseless, misleading and politically motivated claims, and it's predicated on ignorance and mischief?
Well, first of all, Mr. C, you know I will not respond to somebody like Ekoma. Go take a look at who he is. He's nobody. It's not somebody I can respond to. I can respond to the state government effectively.
He's speaking for the government. He's speaking for the government.
Yeah, there's so many things you said there that I can tell you very clearly government is not part of. And if government has gotten to that mode, that is unfortunate. I'm not going to talk about Ekoma. He's a nobody. My boys at the appropriate time will respond to him, and they will respond effectively to him. I will leave it to my own. But in fact, if you look at the qualification of my own media aides, They have some history to their name. The first thing you have in all your life is special advisor. That is why we keep saying it, Mr. C. When you are in government and you want advisors, you must seek experience. If you seek experience and have people who have capacity and understanding of what governance is all about, they will use different language. They will be courteous. You wouldn't have this Jankara arrangement we have right now, where somebody who has more experience. I made inquiries from the Institute of Journalism, the Journalism Union in Abia State. They don't even know who he is. He has no record in journalism. So I don't know see how he's advising Abia State in that area. So I'm not going to talk about him. Let him stay at his level. I'm going to talk about the government. Let me give you information. The information I want to give you is that we have seen back and forth from government, from opposition, and from also well-meaning Nigerians. Even on the recent one we have on Arise Television, the record we have, which was submitted to World Bank by Abia State, states that 54 billion has been spent. That's what it states. Opposition is saying it's not 54 billion, it is 58 billion. That's what opposition is saying. The governor himself is saying that it is 14 point something billion spent so far. I'm a security consultant. Don't forget, I'm also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Forensic and Fraud Investigators of Nigeria. That gives me a privileged position to know exactly what to do. And let me tell you exactly what I have done so far. I have hired a lawyer to do some due diligence. That lawyer has written a letter. It will be received today by the governor of the state, the governor, the secretary to government, the attorney general, and the accountant general of Abia State. They will receive the letter today. That letter will give them 7 days to provide the records of accounts of Abia State, both for the ones they received on behalf of the state and the ones they received on behalf of the local governments. I am doing this because of the provisions of the law that freedom of information empowers me to do it, and I have a process to do it. The purpose of doing this is to make sure that if government does not give us this information within 7 days, I'll go for an order of mandamus in the Federal High Court to obtain it. That is very important so that we can know the truth.
Okay.
Is the governor saying the truth?
Okay. Well,
is the opposition saying the truth?
Yes.
Is the accountant general saying the truth? Well, Commissioner for Finance is saying it's 54. So we want to know exactly the position. Well, and that is exactly what I've commenced immediately.
Yeah, so I would still want to go back to the comments by Mr. Ferdinand Ekoma. Just like I mentioned, he's not he didn't speak, or he didn't release that statement of his own volition. He released the statement as a spokesperson to the government. And I mean, on your claims that the governor is running a one-man show, he did describe such as pretty much unfounded. He cited the fact that
can I explain it?
Yes, let me make the point. He cited the fact that the governor holds a regular executive council meetings, not just that, monthly expanded school sessions. He did talk about the fact that there's in place an establishment of development authorities such as GODA, and a restructured UCDA, and all aimed at decentralizing governance. So apparently your claims that the governor is running a one-man show, it's not correct.
Let me commend the government for having their regular executive council meetings. Let me also commend him for establishing all those development agencies around Abia State. But what I'm saying is that matters that has to do with education, we have a commissioner, we have a PAMSEC, we have directors, let them speak. Matters that have to do with finance, we have a finance commissioner, we have accountant general, let them speak. What to do with equity and fair play, we have an attorney general, let him speak. But the truth remains that everything that has to do with Abia is only Lexoti, the governor, is speaking. He is overburdened. In fact, he should commend me for asking him to let the rest of his people take part. There's no doubt you may be having meetings with your people. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty, explaining how much you have expended in a government activity, it is not the government that does that. It is an aberration. It is wrong. It is like asking the president to come and explain how those monies that were expended in various departments. No.
I mean, that was a media briefing. Are you saying if such questions were put forward to the governor, he should decline responding? I mean, he has his monthly media briefing where he interacts with journalists. Questions are put forward, and he addresses those issues as they come. So what would you have to do in situations like that?
The media briefing, does it prevent the Commissioner for Finance to explain the situation in a very clear, detailed manner? Does it prevent the Commissioner for Education to tell us the places where these schools have been built? Does it prevent the Commissioner for Works explaining the essence of where these things have been done? It is not the government to do everything. That's what I'm saying. It is wrong. That is why we have government. And if you're going to give offices to gentlemen who are quite experienced, the Commissioner for Works is a very experienced man. I know him personally. He has been in works all his life. He has been at the highest echelon of the Works Department of the Federal Ministry of Works. So he is well educated, well established, well knowledgeable in that area. Can't he be the one to explain? There should be division of labor. That is what I'm saying. Let there be division of labor. If there's no division of labor, nothing works. If one man will continue explaining to every situation, if one man in health he explains, in transportation he explains, in finance he explains, in judiciary he explains, if one man keep doing it, that is what is called one-man show.
Okay,
there must be departmentation and also division of labor. Those whose job it is to oversee our area of works should speak on works. It's not the governor. The governor is not a specialist in works.
Chikwe Udensi. Oh, yes, we'll be going on a break shortly, but just to have in mind some of the issues, like you mentioned, 54 billion naira said to be spent on renovating schools. That released by the media aide to the governor, the special advisor that is on media and publicity, Mr. Ferdinand Ekoma, tried to set the record straight, dismissing your claims of the said money spent, stating that the expenditure, in their words, is verifiable through the state audited financial records, and that visible improvements in the education sector proved the funds were effectively utilized. I went on to say, if Udensi believes money is missing, he should use his Interpol skills to investigate and provide evidence. Otherwise, his accusations remain reckless and unfounded. We'll take a break here, and maybe when we return, we'll have you react to that. Open Parliament, Family Love 99.9 FM, the midweek edition. Interpol Systems consultant and security expert, Chikwe Udensi, it's a guest on the program this morning. My name is Mr. C. Well, thanks for staying tuned to the midweek edition of Open Parliament, live on Family Love 99.9 FM. My name is Mr. C, Interpol Systems consultant and security expert, Chikwe Udensi, a guest still virtually this morning. Well, sir, before the break, it was about 54 billion naira set to be spent on renovating 51 schools across the state. And of course, just like you rightly mentioned, the governor did say, hey, that's not the exact figure. He gave out a figure that said to be spent, and in the statement by the media and publicity advisor to the governor, he said, I mean, for the expenditure, it can be verifiable through the state audited financial records. In fact, if you listen to the governor, he tried to distinguish between budget estimates and budget performance. What's a reaction to this?
Thank you very much, Mr. C. You know, the problem the state government has with Chikwe Udensi is that I commenced security work over 30 years ago. I became a consultant over 25 years ago. And we have always had what we call motives and propaps. Propaps and motives, we have that in security. If you have a situation where the police arrest somebody, rather than take him to court, they take him to the media to advertise the arrest. There's a motive. If you check very well, you see that the man may not have committed the crime for which he was accused of. There's always a motive. If anybody is in authority and he says he has spent 5 naira on an issue, and somebody says, where did you spend it? You leave that question and start telling people how bad the person who has asked the question is. It is called official criminality in security. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mr. C?
We're listening, sir.
It is also called coping behavior. Somebody has said, in your own report, you have said that it's 54 billion expended. You didn't say you budgeted. No. The report to the World Bank is performance. Performance means what you have done. And in your budget performance, you said you have expended 54 billion. People have asked questions. What is it? Rather than answer the question, you are now insulting people. Then you have something to hide. Very clearly. The truth has therefore remained, you have something to hide. All this period of time, you have heard people making comments of Udensi is this, what is the other man's name? Chikwe Udensi is that, PDP is criminal. With all this period, you have just shown the job you have done. Show those who did this job. This contract was given to Mr. C for this amount of money, and look at the completion. That is what governance is all about. That is what proper, effective, decent governance is all about. It is not using derogatories against people. No. And like I said before, Mr. C, please, when you want to make reference, you can make reference to state government, not to that young man. I don't have any, I can't get to his level. Any comments he makes, I'm not getting to his level.
But someone has got to speak for the government. He is speaking for the government.
I won't get to his level. He's he can go ahead and speak for the government, but I'm going to look at what the government have said, not what he has said.
Okay,
I will get my boys who are at his level to check that. So what I'm saying as a matter of fact is this, Mr. C. Government should show, even if you say it's 14 billion, show us. If you say it is 14 billion, 14 billion is no small money. We're talking about only 17 local governments. Show us. Where have you expended it? If you do not do that, and you go on a voyage of insulting people, go on a voyage of saying who is this, who is not that, then you are being fraudulent. That's what is called official fraud. That's what I'm telling you. It's called official fraud. Government should open up. This is where we have expended it. This is what we're talking about, people's funds.
Okay, now so you have said that you're taking steps to get information from.
Yes, let me tell you what I've done. I had a very long conversation with the president of the Chartered Institute of Forensics and Fraud Investigators of Nigeria, Dr. Ilya Gashimbaki. I had a long discussion with him yesterday. I had a long discussion with the lawyers yesterday, and I said, I'm a very practical man. If there's allegation against my state government, I should either exonerate them or say what the facts are. I'm not going to rely on hearsay. I'm not going to rely on rumors. So I have instituted at my own expense a very comprehensive forensic report, a very forensic investigation of the accounts of Abia. Let us see if actually the money was paid and to whom it was paid. And we're not getting the government to give us that information because we have capacity to get them. Ordinarily, I can get that information through window search without even anybody knowing, but the best thing to do is get a formal process of going to ask government, giving them 7 days. If they do not respond within 7 days, I'll seek an order of mandamus which I effectively obtain, and then I use an order of mandamus to get the relevant banks, institutions, individuals to give us data, information on how Abia's money have been expended. And let me give you information. My attention was also just called to the fact that 750 billion budgeted by Abia state government for this year has been finished. To the extent that the government has also requested for over 100 billion. I'm told it's about 115. Some say it's 150. I'm not sure the actual figure. Over 100 billion has been requested, and approval are given by the State Assembly. So where has 750 billion been expended? Where has it been expended?
Okay, now
750 billion
because of time.
In Abia State.
Yes.
So what we are saying is that we are going to institute a very solid inquiry, and this is going to start from today. The government will receive the letters, and they have 7 days to respond. If after 7 days there's no response, I will seek an order of mandamus to ensure compliance and proper forensic investigation of the accounts of Abia. That will be done at my own expense.
We're talking about the said 54 billion naira. A chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Chikwe Udensi, said to have petitioned anti-graft agencies like the EFCC, the ICPC, and the rest. With regards to the sum, said the renovation the government is claiming is non-existent. The government has responded to that, saying, hey, this through the chief press secretary to the governor, saying that in his words, he said they are merely spreading falsehood. The OT-led administration has been very transparent with the people of Abia. The schools are visible to everyone under the leadership of the governor. The government is building new schools while also renovating and equipping existing schools. So effectively dismissing the move by Chikwe Udensi to move by anti-graft agencies. Is this taking it too far? I mean, there have been questions about, hey, if there is anyone who should ask questions on transparency, then maybe the former commissioner for information shouldn't be the one to ask those questions. What will be your reactions quickly before the phone lines?
Yes, Chikwe Udensi is different from me. He has his own system. He has his own strategy. Mine is a very effective one. Mine is a proper public inquiry that everybody will see. They will see where the monies are going to, see where the monies are expended. I'm not going to leave it in the hands of some people you call EFCC to look into it. No. The Chartered Institute of Forensic and Fraud Investigators, which EFCC also uses, they use us to do their search. They use us to do the inquiry. The Chartered Institute is going to do a comprehensive inquiry through official process of asking, first of all, 7 days from the state government to give us information. When they do not in 7 days, we take an order of mandamus to obtain the information and we make it public. That will be very more better than going to ask some gentlemen. EFCC will probably get 3 or 4 people to look into it, and before you know it, it takes you 5 to 6, 7 years. Maybe 10 years after electricity is no more there, you hear them go and say they are going to court again on the matter. That's not my direction. My direction is going to be precise, effective, professional, and competent. I'm going to take a very decisive means in less than 3 months to determine where Abia funds have been expended. If government have done it the way they said, we exonerate them. If they have not, we shall tell the public they have not. We're not going to hide anything. We're going to be very forthright, very honest, very prudent, and very precise. And that will happen in 3 months' time.
What would you say to those who are sympathetic with the government, particularly in the area where they believe the government, since coming on board, have done better than previous administrations, and saying, hey, I mean, this moves, particularly that by Chikwe Udensi will be distracting what they believe is the good work of the current administration. What would your response be to this?
Well, the truth has always remained, Mr. C, that any man of good will and good conscience will tell you that this government has done better than the previous governments. I've said that over. Nobody is arguing that. Anybody who argues that is not being fair to himself is not being honest. Electricity's government has done better than the previous governments in the areas of infrastructure, the areas of payment of salaries, the areas of payment of pension, and the area of improvement of our fiscal policy. That has been done. But as it amounts to accounts, records, finances, I'm saying that we're not out of the woods yet. We are where we are. Because you ask a government, you said you have spent 5 million, where did you spend it? They say you are an idiot. They say you're a bloody fool. They say your head is brown when you ought to be black. They say you have care leg. That is not what government is all about. In that area, we are still not out of the woods. In that area, we're seeing government is not doing it right. You must have to be accountable. If you are doing a good work and then you are not accountable, you create a problem for yourself. You remember if you recall, I warned not too long ago, I said, do not mix your good works with lies. Once you mix your good works with lies, people will not see the good works anymore. The emphasis will be on the lies. And even if there's praises on the good works for a small time, you see the praises will evaporate. The praises will disappear.
Okay.
And you begin to see it happened in the case of my very good friend when he was the governor. I warned him to ask questions. And whenever you are in government, do not be arrogant. You are not going to be there forever. Once you show some level of arrogance, once you show some level of disrespect for people, whenever you leave office there, you become vulnerable. We have several cases of that, both from Shehu Shagari till up to not too long ago, when some of our governors are leaving office. Those who are in government, for accountability of the people, show humility, show respect, show forthrightness. Don't be insulting people, because you will not be there forever. And when you leave, you do not know who is going to take over from you. Okay. You don't know.
Well, let's get to the
And because you don't know who is going to take over, it will become a big problem for you if you don't take time.
0816-111-5955 0907-103-6625. 1 minute if you come through. Interpol Systems Consultant and Security Expert, Chikwe Udensi, our guest here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. C.
Good morning to you.
My name is Prince. I'm calling from Aba.
Welcome. 1 minute.
Can Mr. Chikwe Udensi hear me from there?
Yes, he can. But move away from the radio.
Okay, just a moment. Thank you. Mr. Chikwe Udensi, I want to thank you this morning. I want to commend you for your uprightness and speaking truth to power. You see, in Adia, I've realized there are so many psychopaths praising the government just for doing what we hired the government to do. But you've come up to say the right thing. When you say you've expended an amount, you owe Adians the responsibility to be accountable to them, because the money does not belong to you as a governor, it belongs to Adians. Mr. Chikwe Udensi, I must commend you. I do not know you, I do not know the government, but I must say you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Keep on speaking the truth.
Thank you.
Mr. C, thank you and God bless you. I have to move forward.
Thank you very much. Your 1 minute is up. We appreciate it. Hello, good morning.
I did not hear you very clearly, though, but go ahead.
Yes, we have another call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah,
Good morning to you.
Yeah, I'm calling from Amara this morning.
Welcome.
Yes, but you are doing well. Yes, I commend you are doing well. But what I want to say is, if somebody is a leader, then the person is doing work. You know, and the job the person is doing is clear. Even though the person is getting money, people will commending the job he's doing, not minding the money he's getting. We are aware that Allah is not getting. We are aware. But he's doing the job, because if the past administration are doing the job and they are eating the money, we may not be complaining, and the other state may not be in this situation. Look at what happened. Okay, see, Pastor told us that he spent 10 billion to build airport. We did not see any airport. Then he told us he was building flyover at Osisioma.
Thank you.
We were trying to ask him.
Thank you.
So these are the things.
Thank you.
Infrastructure, not like on my village here, only secondary school. He built it from scratch.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Your 1 minute is up. We appreciate 1 minute. Don't forget. Hello, good morning to you.
Mr. C, let me say.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, I think this thing will never go down. Yes, said it all. Yes, it is the type of person that's supposed to be in opposition, because he decides constructively. It's no when we get it, when we are mostly annoyed, when someone like this, they can know that I'm not. See, what the is that when like the OCC can call it that cannot stand it, then when we get angry, OCC can this 1999. Also, that was active, it was the first commissioner, that is the whole world, the history of the whole world, for religious activities that we did in Uganda. So he's now talking. There are people that put animals in the farm. It's a cat snare. It's only even people now, when they did it like what? They were attacking. So what would they do from? Everywhere attacking. The two people now, what is people doing that? They're right. No, people did that. I'm telling you,
thank you. Thank you.
I didn't hear him.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for your take. 1 minute. Hello, good morning. Let's see if this will be our last call. Hello, good morning.
Mr. C.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. Chikwe Udensi.
Good morning, sir.
Who say man know this the name I'm calling from Mumbai?
Welcome.
Father Udensi, I want to appreciate you for telling us just hitting the nail, the hammer on the.
I think we lost that call. Well, as Chikwe Udensi, time is almost.
Yes.
If you want to react to the calls and your parting words in less than a minute.
I sent a very strong message to my brother Alex Oti. I told him to be very wary about those who praise him now. They will turn around and sacrifice him tomorrow. Let him just do what is right. Whenever you do what is right, it will persevere. Nothing will change it. If you look back to those who have been in governance and government, those who have taken laws into their hands and insulted the people when they asked for accountability, they have always paid a very serious penalty. Look at what happened to Marbuko during Shagari. Look at what happened to also during Zimbabwe. Paul Ebogo, who was SSG, Mikel Woga, who was one of his SAs. He insulted people when Big Jim left. There was massive regret. Look at what happened in Old Imo. Simon Bakwe, when Pistol Killer was insulting everybody. When Simbakwe left, Pistol Killer had a very big problem. Even during Abacha's time. Look at what Sergeant Rogers. Look at Al Mustafa. Where are they today? When you are in office, do what is right. When you do not do what is right in your office, you will not be there forever. When you leave, there will be accountability and there will be penalties for those who take laws into their hands and lie to the people.
Well, thank you very much, Sir Chikwe Udensi, for your time on the program this morning.
Thanks, Mr. C. By the end of this week, I'll be thinking of coming back home.
Okay.
Paris is beautiful, but there's no place like home. So I should be ready to go home.
All right.
So I can be with my people.
Thank you very much once again. Enjoy your stay and a safe journey back. The size of our package at Open Parliament this morning. A return same time, same station next week. Thursday, that's tomorrow. It will be back. Next, the newsroom for the news at 10.